Alien Romulus confirms that there are two different breeds of engineer. One, biomechanically enhanced, forced evolution to survive deep in space, and the other, more humble origins. One less enhanced to survive its homely atmospheres on its planet. This is the topic of today's theory video, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be looking at elements of Prometheus, some narrative threads in Alien Covenant, and then of course Alien Romulus, trying to tie it all together to explain how I believe Alien Romulus reveals that there are, as I said, two breeds of engineer. Now, it doesn't necessarily explicitly state it, of course, no. But I think that there are elements hidden in plain sight for the keen Alien fan to bite their teeth into and enjoy. So dive right in with me today, hit subscribe if you're new here and you enjoy videos such as this. So, Prometheus. The opening of Prometheus introduces us to arguably two types of engineer. We see the sacrificial engineer, a tall, towering Adonis, a behemoth, huge musculature, unlike the others, the more tribal, more ritualistic elders that surround this engineer. Now, those elders admittedly are shown in other images here and there, and we don't really see much of them in the opening of the theatrical release of Prometheus, but they are there. It was there, that was the intention. Now, the sacrificial engineer drinks the black goo mutagen, disintegrates, seeding life on a planet. That planet is presumed to be Earth, of course. So, first things first, we see two different engineers right there. One less muscular, one more muscular. One more advanced in terms of its biology. We flash forward in Prometheus, and then again, there's a different type of engineer shown. We're on LV-223 with the installations of the urns, the black goo. Notably, in this setting, presumed to be more a weapon rather than a ritualistic, sacrificial offering to planets to seed life there. Now, this engineer that we're introduced to in Prometheus is seen in a form of biomechanical suiting. In the behind the scenes and also in blink and you'll miss it moments in Prometheus, you'll see that this biomechanical suit doesn't actually appear to be a suit. It blends seamlessly into the engineer's flesh. Now, this engineer is still huge, massively muscular, and arguably what I would say to be an evolution on one of the engineers that we had seen at the start of Prometheus, the sacrificial engineer. So what we're witnessing there, in my theory, are two variations of an advanced engineer experiment on themselves. This biomechanical suit isn't a biomechanical suit, it is indeed part of their flesh. It is something which has been the result of experimentation with the black goo mutagen to allow these engineers to survive in deep space. Now, we flash forward to the beginning of Alien Covenant, and also we've got to tie this in with some interviews with Ridley Scott. We see David towering over the engineer homeworld, or an engineer planet. With Ridley Scott, he has said that these are engineers, and he has said that this was a world of theirs. So we've got to take his word for it, at least in this perspective, for this theory. We can argue down below whether you agree or disagree with that. But hear me out. We see engineers more reminiscent to the sort of ritualistic engineers at the opening of Prometheus here. They're wearing very similar garb. They are not muscular. They look less advanced. Their civilization is not necessarily filled with biomechanical enhancements. But, again, Ridley Scott has said that these are engineers in and unto their own. Now, also pair all of this information with the fact that in Prometheus, we learned that the engineer's DNA and our own DNA is a very, very, very close match. Very, very close match, in fact. In fact, it's so close that is what led the Prometheus crew to essentially proclaim, yes, we've met our makers. They are the individuals that made us. We're so close to them in DNA, they had to have made us. They are our gods. Now let's flash forward to Alien Romulus. Rook explains what they were trying to do with the black goo mutagen. In fact, Alien Romulus as a whole shows us that humans are not designed for deep space. Our DNA, our evolution, is not designed for deep space. Evolution not as it is at this point in time anyway. And what Weyland-Yutani was trying to do aboard the Renaissance station was not necessarily weaponize the mutagen, but harness its power as an evolutionary tool, something to speed up the evolution of humans and allow them to survive in deep space, to become a more perfect organism. They may not attain perfect organism status, but a near perfect organism, at least more perfectly designed for deep space travel. So it's my belief that actually Alien Romulus proves to us that the engineers we've seen throughout Prometheus, all iterations of the engineers, and Alien Covenant are two different types of engineer. One enhanced, designed, if you will, for deep space travel by the scientists that have harnessed the power of the mutagen. And then, of course, the more normal engineers. The ones which we see sacrificing themselves are, again, they're enhanced for deep space travel. Their DNA needs to be evolutionary advanced, because otherwise the planets they seed life on would not propagate a life form that would be able to traverse the distances of space required to meet them. And remember, they did in fact leave signals. They left an invitation. So that's why we see a sacrificial engineer that has been enhanced with the black goo mutagen, different to the more ritualistic engineers. And that's why in Alien Covenant we see engineers that are humble, just going about their day-to-day life, like we would here on planet Earth. And in Alien Romulus, we know that Weyland-Yutani was trying desperately to seek the power of the gods to enhance humans for deep space travel. And because our DNA is so very similar, and maybe that's what they're looking to propagate, these sort of LV-223 type humans, I guess. A cross between that engineer and a human. So there you go. A nice deep dive into Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and Alien Romulus. The dialogue in Alien Romulus, again, although not explicitly stating it, I think it all but reveals that actually we've seen two distinct types of engineer. At first, in Prometheus and on the lead up to Alien Covenant, I thought we were seeing two factions of engineers. Ones which were warmongering, and ones which were peaceful. Ones which wanted to kill us, and ones which wanted to embrace us. But I think now what we've seen are two breeds of engineer. One biomechanically enhanced for deep space travel and seeding life. The necessary evolution of the engineer essentially speaks for itself. When you're seeding life on a planet, you want to kickstart that evolution if you want that life form you've just seeded to eventually find you. And then, of course, the LV-223, the much more advanced biomechanical enhancements. Because if the DNA is so close to one another, it stands to reason that the engineers themselves are not actually cut out for deep space travel. And so they have to be enhanced. So there you go. What do you think to this theory video? I'd love to hear your thoughts. These are always fun for me. If they're fun for you, hit that thumbs up button. Give the video a like and a share. Cheers guys, take care. Bye bye now.